The true nature of Luffy's Devil Fruit is still a major topic of discussion in the One Piece fandom. With the release of the latest chapter, that is chapter 1043, we might be getting a closer look at what exactly is the mystery behind all of it, but still it is not giving us the clear full picture. We might be leading towards Luffy's eventual awakening, that is the awakening of the Gomu Gomu no Mi Devil Fruit, but I think there is much more to this story, and there's a lot that Oda is planning for the endgame of One Piece, because if awakening is revealed here in Wano, then the finale of One Piece definitely needs to have a Gear 5 or something of that equivalent. And that's where my theory comes up from 2 months back. Actually, 2 months back I made a very peculiar theory talking about how Luffy's Devil Fruit might be a very special one. I mean, we already know that it's a special Devil Fruit at this moment, with all the revelations about Huzu, Shanks and all these things, but what I basically predicted or said here in this particular video is that Luffy's Devil Fruit might be one of the very earliest forms of Devil Fruit from the world of One Piece, possibly a form of a progenitor for Devil Fruit, and that's why it has the ability to evolve. It is one of the very few evolving Devil Fruits in the world of One Piece, and in its unevolved or regular format, even though there is awakening, it might be acting usually in the rubber format, but with the proper exposure to Conqueror's Haki and a specific set of conditions, that might be pressure, that might be death, that might be a number of different things. We might talk about that later on, but under the correct circumstances, it has the ability to evolve, and in fact the world government might be aware of all of these things, and that's why they are so scared and taking so many different preventive measures in order to stop Luffy once and for all. And the basic reason why I'm saying all of these things is that this might be a major link or a major foreshadow to what Oda might eventually reveal to us, and I think that I might have a clear picture of what exactly Oda is trying to intend to do here, and that is revealing Luffy's true Devil Fruit, or rather the true form of his Devil Fruit, which might be Hito Hito no Mi model Hanuman. So hello and welcome to WhyZ, and thank you so much for watching. Today we are going to talk about Luffy's Devil Fruit, or rather the secret behind Luffy's Devil Fruit. But before that, if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to our channel, since I do weekly anime and manga related content along with a bunch of other stuff. With that being said, let's just jump into this video. Now, let's just get this right out of the bat. I know Luffy's awakening is just around the corner, and it seems like it's a form of vulcanization that is able to affect, or actually able to have an area of effect or AoE kind of a thing. But I think that this Devil Fruit goes much beyond that, because right now, with all the influences that Oda has used specifically involving mythological stuff, I feel like we are getting onto something. Now, my reasoning behind all of these things are basically stemming from two particular things. But before talking about that, I just want to give you all a brief idea about what exactly I talked about in my prior video, and that is in relation to the Wisdom King. Now, the Wisdom King, or the Myo, is a very significant part of the Buddhist mythology, and in its Sanskrit form, it is called the Vidya Raj, or the Raja of Vidya. It basically translates to someone who is the ruler of knowledge, and that's how the English name comes up for the Wisdom King. Now here, basically what I'm trying to say is that it all connects back to one particular entity, and that is the Monkey God, or the Monkey King in the form of Sun Wukong. But it's much more than that, and I'm coming to that from the other example, or the second point which I'm trying to raise here, and that is Dragon Ball. Now, we all know that Oda is a huge fan of Dragon Ball. He immensely respects and adores the work of Toriyama, to the point where he has tried to use some of the influences of Dragon Ball in his story, and possibly one of the major or biggest influences in this particular regard would be Goku, and how he himself is inspired from the story of Sun Wukong. Now, in fact, this is something which I, as a lifelong Dragon Ball fan, thought about when I first read, or when I first saw One Piece in the very first place. So I pretty much believe that you all might be aware of the basic things in the world of Dragon Ball about how Goku is a Saiyan, and how the Saiyan race has a Ozaru transformation, has a monster transformation, wherein after seeing the full moon, they transform into a giant ape, into a giant Ozaru. And this immediately struck me, because when I saw Gear 4 for the very first time, I thought that maybe Oda is making a reference to Dragon Ball. I mean, sure, there is the Wisdom King and all, but this transformation really reminded me about the Ozaru transformation. And then with the other forms of Gear 4, we saw how Snake Man and Tank Man also came around. But basically what I thought here, specifically in regards to Dragon Ball GT, because yeah, there's the regular Dragon Ball Z and Super, but they sort of ditched the entire Ozaru lineup and the primal form of the Saiyans. But with Dragon Ball GT, I know it's not canon, but they introduced a concept called Super Saiyan 4, wherein basically they are taking in the true power of the Ozaru and transferring it into the regular Saiyan body, without all the shenanigans of going out of power. Now, when I watched One Piece for the very first time, my initial thoughts after Dressrosa was that maybe Luffy is going to unlock a form similar to this in this version of One Piece. Maybe he's going to unlock a form of Gear 5 wherein he is able to master the power of Gear 4 without expanding his body in such a manner. I mean, with his regular body, he might be able to tap into the powers of Gear 4 and beyond. And that's how I was basically reminded about the story of Sun Wukong as well. Because if you look at the story of Sun Wukong, one of the major influences for this entire story, and this is not just me talking about it, this has been talked about by various different scholars. And in fact, as an Indian myself, growing up reading all of these stories, when I heard the story of Sun Wukong for the very first time, I was like, hey, this might be inspired by this only. And that is the story of the Hindu god or Hindu deity in the form of Hanuman. Now, Lord Hanuman is a Hindu god and a divine Vanara. Now here Vanara means a monkey, and he is the companion and devotee of Lord Rama. Now this basically serves as the story or one of the major influences for the story of Sun Wukong. Now, Indian culture and Chinese culture go a long way back. There has been a lot of mixture or a lot of exchange of influences and cultural similarities between both of these cultures. A lot of the Chinese philosophers have been inspired by old or ancient Indian civilization and cultural norms and things. So it is a very known fact that Lord Hanuman might be one of the major influences for Sun Wukong. And this might play a very significant part for the role of Luffy as well, because what if instead of the Buddhist mythology, Oda might be using Hindu mythology as the base for Luffy all along. That is, the next evolution for Luffy would be in the form of Hito Hito no Mi model Hanuman. Because another very significant aspect in this entire story narrative comes from the story of Lord Hanuman himself, wherein according to the Vedas, according to the holy books, he is the son of Lord Vayu, and Lord Vayu is basically the god of wind. He's the wind god. Are you able to get the connection right now? Because yes, I mean, okay, fine, I might admit it right out of the bat. It's not confirmed actually, like 100% confirmed, but it's very likely that Monkey D. Dragon has a power of wind. It could be storms, it could be elemental nature, but according to a lot of different instances that we have seen him in the story, specifically the Sabo story, Sabo's backstory, Dragon is definitely having the power to influence weather and create storms and manipulate wind as a result of it. So, the father being a person or being a god of wind, and the son being the Monkey King. Because Sun God Nika, the entire story of Sun God Nika is very similar to the story of Hanuman as well. How he wanted to protect people, how he wanted to bring joy to the faces of people. And in fact, I know it's not exactly the same thing, but one of the most popular stories that I think every other Indian kid has basically grown up reading is that how Lord Hanuman, when he was young, basically went on to eat or engulf the entire sun. So sun god Nika, I know people might say that I'm reaching a lot, but this is a very major theory, and Oda never really does anything coincidentally. There's no coincidence in the stories of Oda. He plans everything all along the way. And of course, at the end of the day, I mean, this is very redundant, but Luffy is called Monkey D. Luffy. The word monkey is literally in his name. So yeah, Monkey King. Also, it is very interesting to note here that Hanuman is also referred to as the god of wisdom, the god of strength, courage, devotion and self-discipline. I mean, the rest is fine, but the god of wisdom the wisdom king, it comes up again and again. The influences, the references are all around. I mean, literally Hindu mythology and Buddhist mythology can be interlinked in many places. The influences are all over the place. So yeah, it's no coincidence actually if this is actually the case. So this is basically the theory which I'm trying to talk about here. What if instead of Sun Wukong, the actual influence for Luffy's devil fruit or Luffy's powers is the original source in the form of Hanuman? What if this is all a mythical Zoan type or mythical Zoan devil fruit in the form of Hito Hito no Mi model Hanuman? Because we have already seen a lot of mythological characters and even godlike creatures, godlike status creatures in the world of One Piece, with how Buddha is depicted with Sengoku's devil fruit. So what's the harm or what's the problem if we see an actual character like this here? What do you guys think about all of these things? Please do let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think this is actually possible? Is this actually plausible? I'm very excited and keen to know your thoughts about it. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more. This is WhyZ. I'll see you all on the next one. In the meantime, be sure to join the channel membership for some very cool perks and features. See you all on the next one.